I'm using like a kaleidoscope effect for the Taj Mahal, so I can try that.
Yeah,
So I can try the elephants, or should I do a Taj Mahal digitising?
Yeah, try one. Get the big frame out. I would reduce your elephant and then just keep rotating.
In design and technology, GCSE coursework presents a major challenge. It can easily lead to jumping through exam board hoops rather than encouraging creative, independent problem solving.
The component you're looking for there, the capacitor.
In the first of 2 films, we'll look at how a couple of teachers are giving mixed ability classes more control of the focus and direction of their coursework.
Let's turn it on.
Do I need to leave it to dry before I take the elastic
No,
band?
you can take them off now, as long as it's running clear.
I've got one of them, and I'm going to cut them out and then can I join them with little metal circles? And then have it behind pink?
Yeah, try it. It's very 60s, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's very like that idea you had, that picture you had.
Yeah.
Where's your picture?
Lorraine John favours good preparation at Key Stage 3, plus maximum freedom to choose design briefs.
I just think pupils of this particular age group, Key Stage 4, need to be very individual. Basic skills are really, really important. It doesn't just happen. But once they're confident and they've got all the background there, then you let them looser and looser and looser until they fly off on their own and try things.
Can I do the class?
Certain students will only ever be able to adapt a brief, but generally, probably 80% of students will rewrite their own totally because they know exactly where they're going. I think it comes down to having a good Key Stage 3 course so that they learn to make a variety of things but actually get lots of skills in but have lots of fun as well, and letting the rein go more and more as they go through years 7, 8 and 9, so they become more and more responsible for their own projects. So that by the time they come in year 10, I think they've got to feel that it's their project, it's their brief, they're the designer, and they can use me really to help them with technical skills. They must be able to experiment, they must be able to get out of the safety zone, but know that at the bottom their teacher's always got a safety net for them. You can back it onto board.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
My project was a hint of 60s, well, like a modern twist on 60s style, but I did it with 70s included in it, and I've chosen my own colour scheme, so I've adapted the design brief to what I wanted to do.
And your wire's quite stable, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you're going to combine that then with using more difficult threads?
Yeah.
Excellent. Be brilliant.
It's probably going to be for a hat, which I might make, so like a big kind of wide-brimmed hat, and I'll do a big flower.
I'm using lights in this top here, which is for my wall hanging, just as a smart product, which is different. And the pressure switch then uses by his head to turn on and off.
Lorraine underpins pupils' freedom by carefully monitoring their work.
Very time consuming.
Yeah.
Is that going to go over your 40 hours? Or do you need to have some speed up processes as well and do some on the CAD-CAM? Because once you've digitised, you can just do loads of them in minutes, can't you, rather than hours for that.
Or get some transfer paper and get it transferred, then do like a couple of beads around the edging
Be much
to make
quicker.
it stand out.
So I very rarely say it won't work, but we usually just have to sit and find ways around it. Usually the pupils come up with their own ways around. Oh, could I try this? Or, oh, I've got some of this with this work. She said, well, have a go, have a go.
Fantastic. I did it on that side, but look, it's gone through on that side and on the
Just
table.
wipe the table. Just doesn't matter.
Should I do it on this piece now?
Well, you could have a go. If you use the 3D paints, they'll sit on the colour, won't they?
What do you mean? What
These
actual
aren't
stencil?
3D.
Yeah, I know, but should I actually stencil with them or not?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright then.
Have a go.
Look at that, I like that bit. That's good.
But that would probably look quite nice if you padded it or something from behind, wouldn't it?
And then I'm going to bead on it, yeah?
So they would have a task sheet, a monthly task sheet, which would go in their folder. They've got their individual sheets that they keep in their folders. So they would see how much progress they're making and at what kind of grade. They know which tasks they've completed and whether I would award a grade or not. And then they would also have mini targets. So they would know what they're expected to do in a month, and then they would have a class target of a double lesson, what they're expected to complete in a double lesson. So it's freedom within quite tight constraints, I guess, really.
I'm not going to talk to you for more than about 5 minutes because I think it's really important today that we just get on and work on our circuits.
Stuart Barker is using Crocodile Clips software to show Year 10 how to develop their coursework projects.
What can we use as an indicator to show when the power is on? Yeah, an LED, excellent. Put your hand up.
He believes it's important to enable and encourage pupils to think for themselves.
So the research is very, very important. Then obviously the initial idea stage, I think when they see their friends' designs that they've come up with for them, or when they've discussed it through with their friends and myself, it's important that we then say, well, we need to move away from just the box and see if they can actually adapt the particular product to suit its surroundings.
In the beginning of Year 10 we were given a list of different projects that we could do. One of them was an egg timer, and I thought I wanted to do something to do with timing, so I just changed it. So I got the idea from my teacher, but I changed it into a games timer just to make it more interesting and relevant to people my age.
We then asked them to look at various different input components within electronics that they could use and how they work. They then start to put the blocks together and start to come up with some various different ideas as to how they could use those sensors. And then bit by bit we define it down until we actually find a project that's actually suitable for each of the individuals. So we try to make the project personal to the student.
The temperature might still be the wrong temperature.
Okay, is there any reason why you need that to happen? Because the way we had it going seemed to be pretty perfect.
Well, it was, but I just thought I'd have a look, see if I could do it.
That's okay, just keep playing with it, see if it works. I mean, I don't want to, at the end of the day, it's your project.
Yeah.
Frazier's making a device to monitor bath temperature for babies.
And the idea is that when the circuit senses moisture and that the heat of the bath is at the right temperature, then the AND gate then switches on the output, which is going to be...
buzzers and LEDs. Buzzer holes in the top so that doesn't get wet. Probes coming out the bottom, but they're not all in the model because the circuit's changed a bit since when I made the model.
So again, as we develop the project, the model may not be exactly like the final one because it shows how the coursework is a continual process of constantly keep changing as we're developing the circuit as well as the casing as well.
Yep.
So, but we'll get there in the end.
Yeah, we will.
How do you think you could develop that circuit further now?
Put the power switch in.
Put the power switch in. Have a look at maybe drawing your A-stable circuit here, and I'll show you then and come back and help you to join the two together. Right, good, well done, Callum.
It's a motion sensor for the army. It's disguised as a rock. And what will happen is when somebody triggers the pressure pad, an alarm and an LED will start going off to tell that somebody's coming towards them so that they can react.
How did you come up with the idea for it?
Basically because I'm part of the Army Cadets, they don't really have enough for detecting when people are coming.
And what did the teacher do to help you come up with this idea?
Because I wanted to do a tripwire, but we couldn't really do that. She gave me a better idea to do a pressure pad instead.
So that's blown up now. The coursework elements at the moment don't actually allow that many marks for the creativity side of it. So it's quite important that we still as teachers keep the design element and the creativity there, and we just wish that the coursework would perhaps allow a few more marks for those students that do those more elaborate designs. What you need to do is to show in your project, to show the examiner how you've actually looked at different ways of overcoming the same problem.
It's a charity box that should hopefully attract people to donate. Well, it started off just like that, as a plain box. It didn't have so many LEDs, it was just a buzzer. I didn't have a power switch. And then, over consideration of how I should make it better and more attractive, I've added on the clear box at the bottom so you can see the coins that they've donated. I've fitted in the LEDs, the power switch, and originally it was just going to flash once, and now I'm having a sequence going on flashing.
Some of you have asked me, how do I do this and how do I do that? Well, on our website, there's a complete section that's there to support you, and it's called Creating Your Circuits. If you click onto that...
Stuart's department displays guidance notes and coursework projects online to help students solve problems and develop their ideas.
What it's allowed us to do is it allows students to work independently, so they've not been so much guided by the teacher. We found in the past that sometimes we've had to spoon feed a lot of the work to the students, which stops us from actually making them work independently. We've got things for coursework guides, we've got tracking sheets for parents to look at from home, we've also got help with creating circuits, and there's revision guides, and we've got some video resources as well which show exemplary material from last year. The exemplary material that we use is really probably one of the best ways of actually starting the students up when we see them in Year 10. And what we do is we guide them onto the portal by showing them, as you can see here, some examples of some of last year's projects. There's a fish bite sensor. You can see in the centre there's a little wheel that triggers the sensor. We also put the models on. At the modelling stage, students use styrofoam to create various different models. This is a really good way of them getting an idea of how big their product's going to be and will their circuit actually fit inside.
The danger is that pupils could just copy previous work.
I think sometimes within electronics there are certain elements of the circuit that are copied from year on year, because it's very difficult to actually change the way in which the components sense various different things. So sometimes the circuits can be very similar, but the output parts of the circuit can always be changed to do different things. So the circuit can always be adapted to make each one individual. Make sure that every single part of your circuit is done step by step, so we can see how you've developed from the most basic transistor circuit all the way through to your final circuit. And then what we'll look to move on in next lesson and the week after is you'll then go on to use PCB Wizard, where we'll turn your modelled circuit in crocodile clips to an actual working PCB, and you'll be able to see what it looks like in real life. So thanks for your time today.
But at Swanmore, Year 11 pupils are grateful they didn't see earlier work.
The main idea she got given to us was basically go out, enjoy yourself, have fun and do what you like to do.
She wouldn't show us any of the older people's works. I think it's so we didn't copy and we had our own ideas, but she wouldn't show past years pieces of work that they finished with.
Despite the free rein, Lorraine believes it's important pupils work to a specific market.
As a designer, it's not just being creative, but how is this product actually going to be made? How is it going to be fit for the purpose? This is a product for a child's dress. It needs to be strong, it needs to be hard wearing, it needs to be easy to get into. So she will have done research on fastenings. What would a child be able to do themselves? What type of zip might they use?
Well, I did make a jacket, but it sort of developed from different themes and colours to different techniques. Yeah, and there's certain specifications, like you had to be adaptable for mass production and those sort of things. So we had to include that, but apart from that, it was quite free.
Yeah. Charlotte, this pupil who completed this work here, quite a challenging pupil, quite an able pupil, wasn't going to run along with the rest of the class, really needed stretching in a variety of ways, very arty, very creative, so we had to be Creative Plus with her.
And for all students, Lorraine thinks that encouraging trial and error is crucial.
It doesn't always have to be beautiful work. So, for example, this work was done, this planning work. Some pupils might want to throw it away. Say, oh no, that's fantastic work, save it. It's so important that we can see how you've moved forwards.
And she also likes pupils to use their imagination to show each design step they've taken.
I think the digital camera has great use because they can quickly snap lots of photographs and lay them out and show how they've thought through their development without writing. Some students prefer to write. That's fine by me. Some like to write, some like to draw, some will take photographs. They're all equally as good. Fantastic! That's brilliant!
Is that right?
Yeah, that is lovely. I think a child would adore it too. How are you going to develop this further?
Well, the main thing that helped me was she's just always saying how good we are. Whether you're having a really bad day and you feel like your work's going so terribly, and she'll just say, no, it's fine, it's all wonderful. Yeah. It just gives you the kind of go to go.